Have you ever done something, whether it be go to a convention or take a hike, you stick with that thing for a little bit, instead of a little bit, mayhaps a year. But something in the back of your mind will always tell you, without even doing it for more than like 5 seconds, that you regret it. This isn't to say that I completely regret what I did a little bit more than a year ago at this point, but not much has changed. And to kind of illustrate that point, let me rephrase that question a little bit. You ever purchase something, whether it be from Amazon, Target, wherever? You get it in your hands, you mess with it a little bit. But instead of regretting it, it was one of the few things that you actually found rather enjoyable. Because, that's basically what buying this set was. For those of you that don't know, or I should probably center this a little bit. For those of you that don't know what the heck these are, first of all, is Fortnite really an old people game now? Second of all, this is a Pokemon collaboration with Mega Construx or Mega Blocks or whatever the fuck you want to call it. We have from left to right Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. And why I bought this line specifically, even though Charizard's probably the most overrated Pokemon evolution line. Fuck you. I got this before I moved states, before I moved 13 hours away from home, and this was one of the things that I got during my time there that I really enjoyed. Though I guess to illustrate that, I'm gonna have to review the thing, even if I'm going back to the not entirely favored Jobby the Slob kind of style of reviewing. I'll be on this Jobby the Slob kind of review style until I remember that I actually have a life and I get back to it.
There's a crab.
But that being said, we're going to pretend like I never moved, and we are going to start reviewing these like nothing happened, because in the back of my mind, that's basically what happened. This first figure is Charmander. He looks nothing, almost. He looks nothing like he does in the actual Pokemon games, but he's a little guy. He's a little guy, and he's fun. That's really all you need to know about him. He looks more like Squirtle than anything, honestly. Hell, this might even make a good Bulbasaur if it weren't for the fact that it's standing upright.
Behold my ultimate move, standing up!
If you're wondering about this thing's posability,
From one engineer to another. Why?
ball joint at the head, at the arms, we have a swivel here at the tail. I said I'd never do that joke again, but at this point, so much has happened that I don't give a shit. And we have a...
He's got a delicious spread.
That feels wrong doing the bit with a starter Pokemon. You can do the full splits. And that's about it for the posability. For such a simple build though, this guy is honestly just fun, even if he looks more like a penguin than he does an actual Pokemon. And he actually stands... Fuck. He actually stands okay for the most part, assuming you don't, do that. And I guess to exemplify how small this guy is, here is another round boy or girl. I have no idea what the identity of plastic is. This is Galak Call. And I would do a size comparison with one of the RC sisters, but they're currently on a shelf out in the living room. And I don't feel like getting them out right now because I have enough problems in my room as it is. But besides that little guy, we have the second Pokemon in this lineup, Charmeleon. Fuck. This one looks a little bit more like their Pokemon counterpart, though not by too terribly much. Their legs are still stubby as all hell, but they actually have elbows. That's about it. This is basically a beefier version of Charmander and nothing Nothing more.
You literally just described the concept of a Pokemon evolution. You motherfucker!
Posability, pretty much what you'd expect. Just looking at him. Ball joint, ball joint, ball joint. It's extremely tight. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. We actually have a ball joint at the hips this time, which allows for a full 360. We have whatever the heck kind of movement that is. It's not necessarily a spread, I guess. It's more of like a butterfly joint for the hips, if that makes any lick of sense. And we actually have a swivel at the foot. And we have ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, swivel at the tail, which actually allows for some dynamic poses. Well, as dynamic as this guy is gonna be able to be. The reason why I'm going through these ones fairly quickly, what you see with them is pretty much what you're gonna get. With Charmander, he's a block.
Actually, no. He's a Pokemon. Shoot me.
With Charmeleon, he's a little bit more of a posable figure, but he's not much more posable than a Lego minifigure. The last figure we're going to take a look at, though, this beefy boy. Oh, fuck, that's a runner. That's a runner. That's a runner. That's a runner.
You get it? Because I couldn't get the runner off of his foot because there was something attached to his foot. Haha, get it? Laugh. Fuck.
The last figure we're going to take a look at, this beefy boy, is probably the most dynamic out of the three. I say probably, even though he has literally the most joints, he has literally the most construction to him, he's the most complex part of the entire build.
Did I always do this in these kinds of reviews? You know what? You know what? No, just let your past you do your thing. Shut up.
This is Charizard, and he is probably the most faithful to his original Pokemon design out of the entire lineup. The horns point straight back, but that's nothing a little bit of manipulation can't fix. Not that kind of manipulation. And in terms of how this guy looks, he might look a little bit rougher on camera because he's been out for so long. There's a bunch of dust on his wing membranes. Other than that, that's just it. This is Charizard. All of these, by the way, are extremely solid. They aren't gonna fall apart anytime soon. The only reason why Charizard moves at all when you shake him around is because his tail is made of ball joints. And as you may or may not know, with stuff like SH Monster Arts or any Bionicles or anything like that, if you shake out a bunch of ball joints, they're going to move if there's enough weight on them. So whatever, that's fine. And like I said, Charmander, this isn't Charmander. Charzaku 2. You know what, fuck it. Charzaku 2 is the most solid out of the entire lineup, as well as the most posable. However, there is a bit more to him than just solidity and posability. And I realized that I forgot something over there that is actually kind of integral to the whole thing. Give me a second. I'm not gonna talk myself down with that. But before we talk about the posability of this thing, we are going to. This is a breath effect part. Something that you would see on something like an SH Monster Arts figure. Wait, or something that you would see on a model kit. Kinda like this, though. We'll get to the thing this belongs to later. Coming back to this, however, what we could do, there is a stud right where my finger was covering it. It will go into that little hole on the roof of Charizard's mouth. That plugs in like so. And right now, that looks ridiculous. But if you angle it just right, he actually looks like he's breathing fire. Kind of. And now I guess it would be a good time to talk about posability. Get that. Fuck. Like I said, Charizard's probably the most posable out of the entire lineup. We have a ball joint at the head, which of course allows for one of these.
Why'd I sound like that one kid that did the funny walk?
This part can look up that far and look down that far. Ball joint at the base of the neck and a technically... Whoops. This is technically supposed to be a swivel as well because it's a peg. However, it doesn't really swivel that much. So take that how you will. This allows a little bit more neck posability as it does allow for some side to side. And this allows a little bit more upward and a little bit more downward. Previously mentioned opening mouth. which can open incredibly wide. Close your mouth. Like all the others, there is a ball joint at the
shoulders,
which allows for some wiggly waggly. Of course, the arm can move out and it can rotate. Technically, there is a bicep swivel because of the peg, but it doesn't really move. But there is a ball joint at the elbows instead, which allows for forward and backward. You know how ball joints work, right? And there is a swivel at the claws. This thing actually has some decent wing articulation, which is amazing for literally anything Lego or Mega Blocks or Mega Construx or the Mega Cock. Even if I'm not using the VTuber model, I'm really living up to the VTuber trends, aren't I?
The bell! Chai, you're looking at the bell, right?
I know at least one of my brothers is watching this, so if you are and you complain about this, rest assured, I will do it again.
There is a ball joint at the wing connection point, which allows for some really good ups, some decent downs, and it can even move forward and back. There is a swivel right here, which allows you to angle the wings a little bit better. There is a ball joint at this part of the wings, which can be rotated. And the swivel can allow you to move it however you wish, which can actually do that to the wings. That looks ridiculous, so what you can do instead of that, you can simply close the wing like that. And then, of course, you can outstretch the wing all the way to get some really nice wing articulation like that. And now that I think it, probably most of the articulation is out of frame, but like I said, I don't give a shit. There's a ball joint at the hips, which allows for an SH Monster Arts grade spread. However, the kicks are really damn good. They can actually do a full 360. Nothing at the knees because of course. And the ball joint at the ankles for good measure, which allows for some up and down, a swivel, and a pretty good pivot. More pivot than is actually required. And the tail is a bit of an interesting situation because we have a ball joint and we actually have a ball joint swivel down here, which you're wondering, why would he need that? If you were to configure him like this, that would look a little ridiculous, wouldn't it? I realize I've said ridiculous a lot this video. This joint right here actually allows you to move the tail down for a more streamlined flying effect. But of course, with Charizard flying like this, he kind of looks like poop. But that is why you get the base. This base, by the way, I don't quite understand everything that's going on. However, it does look very nice. It's very nicely constructed. It's very solid. Nothing's gonna fall off unless you do something like that, in which case, good luck finding that piece. And there is actually a hole right there, which you can plug this clear piece into like so. And there are a couple holes on Charizard's stomach, corresponding to his 2 belly buttons that he totally has in game. They plug right into there like so. And now he actually flies, which is a pretty cool way of demonstrating how these things can fly. Take notes, SH Monster Arts, take notes Lego, take notes pretty much everyone at this point. No, scratch that. And this should make the breath effect part look a little bit more natural. And yeah, it's never gonna be perfect, but this entire thing isn't perfect, so what do you want from me? And for the two of you curious, these two can also plug into the stand. Into the stand. And that is a pretty cool display piece. Especially if you get the 1 or 2 joints that Charmander can actually utilize. Move this fire part out of the way. And say what you will about Charizard's evolution line, you cannot deny that that looks kind of cool. Bringing back Gallic Call, this is about how it looks now. So definitely a bit bigger than a ball, but not by much. It doesn't need to be though, because that's the joy of building things. Believe me, I know. All right. That being said, I don't know if they're still selling this.
I went ahead and looked into it, and it does appear to be a case of your mileage may vary. I got mine at Target, like I said, but you could also get yours at Walmart, Amazon. Some people are selling them on eBay. Yes, I'm just gonna leave this as a blank screen. It is 11:31 my time, and I'm tired.
So, nothing's really changed, has it? I'm still doing these reviews, like the status quo. There's not a lot going into this, I'll be honest, because I can't be fucked to any way, shape, or form. And yeah, the most I can really say is I hope you guys are having better lives than I'm feeling right now. And I'll see you guys later when I am not a miserable pile of messy desks. The next video is going to be about Godzilla. Get out of my house.